right. So, welcome back. And I really hope you guys enjoyed those silly videos that me and my wife made last night. We had a lot of fun doing it. We're going to do more of it. She was shy to talk because she thought her voice sounded funny. And then she watched the video and she's like, you know what? My hands don't look funny. My voice doesn't sound funny. I said, sweetie, you got a sweet voice and your hands are beautiful. So, what are we doing here? You know what? Before I get started, I'd like to say I have over 100 subscribers now, and I feel like I have like 100 million because my subscribers are the best. So I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. I know a lot of you guys in life, and I cannot say enough how much I enjoy making these videos. And as long as you guys keep watching them, I will surely keep making them. So, what do we have here? As stated, this is a modern deck for cedh players. No, I'm just kidding. This is a cedh budget deck for people that play modern. And this is the Schrodinger's Razzacats. Now, this is a deck that just is so near and dear in my heart. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go through it. And I'm going to say, you're probably wondering, cedh for people that play modern, very high power modern. Why is that, Rich? And I'm going to show you why. This is true to say in many commander decks, but in this one particularly so. Because our commander just has one job pretty much right here. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses one life. This is our commander's job. So we don't even need a Jeweled Lotus in here to cast this, because this is going to sit in our command zone until we need it for one turn to do the dead cat dance, in essence. So we're going to make another video about the deck tag, but we're going to go through and I'm going to explain. So here's a play set, okay? Blood Artist does a similar thing right here. See that? Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses one life, you gain one life. So whether it dies, whether it's sacrificed, we have Cruel Celebrant. When Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses one life and you gain one life. So look at here. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield into your control, each opponent loses one life. So if something's coming in and out of the graveyard, this is going to do the thing as well. So similarly, Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses one life. So really, we actually have 5. So we have a play set and one in the command zone of these ETB triggers. So when the Schrodinger's cat, when the dead cat dance happens, any one of these in our hand, we do not need to tutor for these. And we definitely won't need to tutor for this if it's in the command zone. So let's say we even have one of these. So this play set, we have these nice recurring things here. Makes our commander kind of irrelevant. So that gives us power in a way. So here's a play set there. We'll set that right up there. Food for thought. Now, here we have some creatures that do interesting things. Human Rogue is an opposition agent. Flash, you control your opponents while they're searching their library. So this is going to jam them up. And it's going to give us nice things too. So there's opposition agent. We have Thieves Guild Enforcer. Whenever Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield into your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch. We don't really care about that. What we care about is bouncing this with Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward, bouncing in and out, and let our opponents mill out. So there's another one of these kind of what I'd call like a utility creature, like Esper Sentinel here. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. So similarly, we have Aven Mind Sensor, which is kind of a stacks piece here, because this is a stacks deck. Stacks light. So 2 and a white, flash, flying. If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. So we can't get the card and do things like with Oppo Agent, but we can certainly jam them up. Now we're going to get into, put that in there. So we have a play set of these utility creatures, as it were. And these two kind of do a similar thing. We have a mill outlet there to bounce that if we need to. So this is a real Swiss Army knife. So now let's show our Schrodinger's cats. So we have these. We have Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward, who is a man, not a cat, but in essence, he is a World Gorger Dragon Catman to us. So when Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. So we can animate dead, necromancy. These three creatures, obviously, Leonin is the most popular for this. Leonin Relic Warder enters the battlefield. You may exile target artifact or enchantment. So this is the key to the Dead Cat Dance. So if we cast this and bounce it via its ability, it does very similar to the Felidar Guardian and Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward. So these two are not so different. I mean, these three. So there's a playset of three of these that do things. So if somebody says I cannot cast this, uses a pithing needle, they name Leonin Relic Warder. I have Felidar Guardian and Abdel Adrian Ward to give me a similar line of the Dead Cat Dance. So let's look at some of the card draw engines we have here. So we have some of the most powerful ones in Magic, in my opinion. We have Mishra's Bauble, which will be able to recur, which is wonderful. And these 0 mana cost artifacts are going to work so good with our recursion cat. So we have Mishra's Bauble, we have Adnaz, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. You may repeat this process any number of times. We have Peer into the Abyss. Similarly, it's going to fill our hand. It is similar to Adnaz, more expensive to play. We can target ourselves. We can target another player, which might not be the best idea. We have Skull Clamp, of course, because we're going to be sacking this creature-heavy CEDH deck. It's a lot of sacrifice outlets. Deadly Dispute, sack outlet, and card draw. And Necropotence. There it is, the powerhouse. Oh my goodness. What a horrifying card, right? So we have some recurring card draw engines there, some bigger than others. So there it would be a set of those. So do you see where this is going? Now we have our stacks creatures. So here's creatures that jam our opponents up and protect us. So we have Grand Abolisher, of course, needs no introduction. Dautai Voidwalker, if a card to be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter. That is amazing. This is a very powerful card. What more can be said? Thalia Heretic Cathar. This was a late comer to the deck, but for 2 and a white, creatures in non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. That's wonderful. And at least this is going to take out some kind of removal because people will want to be removing this. Similar to the Tithe Taker. During your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. So what we have here is a poor man's Grand Abolisher, sort of. Dranith Magistrate, another great sponge to suck up those removal. And I cannot think of the guy's name, but he was like the biggest jerk in the world. He was like one of these mass shooters. And I know this is grim, but I watched a little true crime thing, and I was like, oh my god, this guy looks like the Dranith Magistrate. And the guy was like a total psycho. But he had the hair, the graying beard, like a big beard. The guy looked just like that. And if you look it up, I think it's like a mass shooting in like Colorado, and I want to say like 2018, 2019. But it was very tragic and very senseless, like anything like that. But to get back onto the subject of it, I just want to say that if anybody can think of the person, he had like a weird name. It was like Kai or something, like a made-up name, it sounded like. But he was an amateur filmmaker and made like action movies that he starred in, which were really very bad, to say the least. Like, not just because the guy was like an evil mass shooter, but also because the guy was a total jerk. And a bad actor to boot. But anyways, moving along. So that's a great sponge to soak up removal. We have Linvala, Keeper of Silence. Flying, activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. And this is my famous misprint version. Or what would you say? Had some kind of detritus up there when the black was rolled on. And then in addition, it has that stamp error right there with the foil. Moving along, we have Giver of Runes, another thing to protect us and kind of keep us from being bothered, like Skrelv Deflector might. So you see how these work? See how we got these playsets? This is a good way to build commander decks in general. But I feel like the way this one interacts, people in Modern, anybody playing Modern that would want to move over into CEDH, this would be a very budget-minded way to do it. And it's funny because it's like Schrodinger's cats. So that's kind of fun too. So you see, what do we have here? We have, let's just do a review here after this part. So we need sack outlets, right? And discard outlets. So we have sacrifice a creature, scry 1 with Viscera Seer. We have Tireless Tribe. Discard a card from your hand. Tireless Tribe gets +0/+4 until end of turn. The ability to us to put things in our graveyard from our hand with this on the battlefield is really powerful in this deck, obviously. And a Carrion Feeder, another sack outlet. We can sack, and we can make a giant Carrion Feeder, which is very funny and very fun. Because we can infinitely sacrifice things, and it's kind of pointless, but if this is on the battlefield and we're doing like an infinite sack trigger, it's very funny to just make a giant Carrion Feeder. So, Cabal Ritual. Now we're getting into what I'd say like our mana production, our get that extra mana. We have Cabal Ritual, Dark Ritual, and anybody know what that is? I'll tell you, it's Culling the Weak. Sacrifice a creature, so it's kind of a mix between what we're just doing. Sacrifice a creature and add 4 black. Cabal Ritual. You guys know these cards. We all know these. So we have 3 of those to create like a little playset. But there's one creature that's special. Why is this called Schrodinger's Razakats?
Hello. Razakath the Foul-Blooded. Ooh. He didn't leave the dead cat dance just because Kalia did. No. Kalia's a real jerk.
Old school people that some of the first like 20 subscribers to my channel remember that joke about Kalia at the dead cat dance. The video doesn't exist anymore because it was so, I'm too old to use the word, but cringy. Can you guys imagine me making cringy videos? Who can imagine? Unbelievable. Never. Anyways, this guy. So he's who, if we're going to entomb something, this is what we want to entomb. Because Razaketh the Foul-Blooded will bring us right to our win condition if we silence after we can cheat him out. So we cheat him out, we silence, and we go to town. Pay 2 life, sack another creature, search your library for a card. We're going to do Leonin Relic Warder. We're going to sacrifice Leonin Relic Warder to pay the 2 life. We're going to search up Animate Dead. We're going to play our commander. We're going to do the dead cat dance. We're silenced. Nobody can mess with us. We're going to win. That's how this wins. And that's why Razaketh is in here. People say, look at the casting cost. I have never casted this. I've never paid the casting cost for Razaketh in my life. Ever. Never pay this demon's casting cost.
Hey, people rip me off all the time. I should have my casting cost paid once in a while.
Never, sir. Never. You're too expensive for everybody. So we have 1 of Razaketh. Just that unique creature that does that unique thing. Now, we had Rune Scar in here for a while, but we gave it to a buddy. A viewer, Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey, you didn't get that one, did you? Nope. Michael got that one. So then let's talk about the tutors. Tutor. Recruiter. Demonic tutor. So this is a demon. This is a demon tutor. Anyways, we have demonic tutor. Search your library for 1 card, take it into your hand, reshuffle your library afterwards. Beseech the Queen, Vampiric Tutor, Wishclaw Talisman, Praetor Grasp, Scheming Symmetry, Grim Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, and Recruiter of the Guard. Tutor Recruiter, the Duder Recruiter, the Quooter Recruiter, the Grim Tutor, Swim Tutor, Praetor Tutor, Truder Duder, and the Tutor Booter. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ways to get our cat combo going. So what else do we have to search things up and put them in the graveyard even? Oh, look at that. I forgot about that one. I was going to say we have Diabolic Intent making us have 10 tutors. So what deck where you can run just 4 playsets? We have 10 ways to seek things out in this deck. So modern players that like to play with power, come over to CEADH. The water's fine. You don't need to spend thousands. I don't. I have fun. So look at here. What do we got? We got, where are they? Where'd it go? Oh my goodness. There it is. All right. So to bring things out of the graveyard, we're going to need to do that too, right? We have Necromancy, Entomb, Buried Alive, Unmarked Grave, and Stir the Grave. And we have another cat. We have Lotus of the Dream Den. Oh, it's true. this banned cat, and this cat should be banned in certain formats because it is a wicked. So we have animate dead. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways to pull out of the graveyard. So see how these are going to work together? So let's look at these together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lots of goods there. Oh, and we have persist, we have reanimate, we have Savine's Reclamation, we have unearth, and we have this famous new card, Goryo's Vengeance, which is getting so much attention lately. So look at this. Let's just look at this real quick. So where are our cards to pull things into the graveyard? There they are. Sure. Just get stuff out of the graveyard. So get out of the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get into the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's good for us because like Buried Alive will get us up to 3 into the graveyard. Unmarked Grave, switch your library for a non-legendary. That's fine for us. Perfect. Good recursion. Good searching. We can dump it into our graveyard so many ways. Now let's talk about what kind of mana rocks we're running in here. What kind of rocks? So, Talisman of Hierarchy, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Lotus Petal, of course. And this is a great card to work with Lurrus. So you can always have an extra mana as long as you don't get it exiled or your graveyard exiled. But generally we can keep that from happening with our stacks pieces. So we can tap this Fellware Stone. You can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool that a land opponent controls produce. You can play this ability as an interrupt. Isn't that strange? Interrupt. Oh, what are you talking? Interrupt. Instant. So, there's our rocks. Kind of a posthumous little grouping. And here, just to get things interesting, let's show you the removal. Let's show you how we interact with people. Let's shake it up. Let's see how the can sounds. Oh, I broke it. Dang it. Dismember, of course. We got Damn. Path to Exile. Generous Gift. Kind of a tight mana cost there. But, you know what? That's okay, because this is a Staxy deck, right? We have Mana Tithe. Now, this is the obnoxious beyond. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. Very rude. Swords to Plowshares, of course. Vendetta. Just a nice destroy target non-black creature. An Unlicensed Hearse. Now this kind of goes into play with our stacks effect as well, but you can tap Unlicensed Hearse, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Unlicensed Hearse power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards exiled with it. It's got a crew cost of 2. So basically we're worried about, we can get stuff out of others' graveyards. So we're interacting with other people's graveyards and getting stuff out of there. That's very powerful. We have Blind Obedience as a nice stacks piece. Let's see here. Chain of Smog. Target player discards 2 cards from his or her hand. That player may copy this spell and may choose a new target for the copy. And we're generally going to target ourselves, okay, and then target someone else. Because we like that to happen. Darksteel Mutation. This is going to be a stacksy piece. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a 0/1 insect artifact creature with indestructible and loses all other abilities. We'll go ahead and enchant a commander with that. Silence is the golden pony here. We love it. We love it. Oh, Silence. Oh, we love you. We love Silence. You're so quiet, but we love you anyways. Now, we love this because this lets us win in peace. Peace and Silence. Angel's Grace stops us from losing, which is very good. We can ad-nause ourselves into oblivion. Do this. You can't lose the game this turn. Your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. So there's not going to be a turn after that when we do that. So that's very good. Now what do we have here? This is the Children of Corliss and my beautiful brothers Kirzmazov. What this does, sacrifice this, and you gain life equal to the amount of life lost this turn. So again, this will save us when we add nons. So let's go through here. There's our saving graces, our protectors, right? We got our Staxy enchantments and artifact pieces, and that Chain of Smog. But looking at this, I know it looks a little chaotic, but let's put it all together. So we have utility creatures, our Staxy creatures. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are our protector creatures. These are our Staxy creatures. And our utilities are right over here. So let's put these all together into their little groupings. And if you look, this is really kind of like a big modern deck, right? Which a lot of commander decks in CEDH are going to be like that, because you want things that do the same things to get consistency. Whereas a lot of people like commander for its randomness. In CEDH, we want the consistency that you get in like a good, well-optimized modern deck. So I would say right here, you go right on to look this up at Moxfield. I will put the link in the description. As always, again, I would just like to thank my, I think, 102, 103 subscribers. You guys are awesome. It might as well be 10 million subscribers, because that's how much each of my subscribers is worth to me. And to be honest, that's how much most people are worth to me, because people are good. And I will say, like, when you are self-employed and work from home and don't work around people, I always hear from people, they say, so lucky you don't have to work around people. And some people don't like people. Sure, some people are mean, but I do like people. And the one thing I don't like about working for myself is I don't get to be around that many people, except when I go do my disc golf tournaments or disc golf leagues, play Magic. That's about it. So where people have like these interactions in the workplace and stuff, I generally, where people take those interactions like at the water cooler or, in the break room, as it were, people take those for granted, but just try to appreciate each other, because I will say, like, we should appreciate each other, like each and every one of us. And sometimes people aren't nice to people, and, it's no big deal. Not everybody's going to like you in life, right? However, I just got the philosophy that I'm just going to try to like everybody. And so when I say, like, my subscribers mean 1 million subscriptions to me, they certainly do, because a lot of people mean a lot to a lot of people, and I certainly like people. So be good to one another, and except in the game of Magic, do not be good. I'm all about, like, fairness, equality, justice, peace, and love, but in the game of Magic, no. Be evil, brothers and sisters. Be evil, people. Be evil in the game of Magic, because that's what makes this game so good. Only the evil makes Magic good. Remember that. And we'll get into some more little deck tech things about this. I was hoping to see more excitement about this deck, but I think, like, people see Orzhov, CDH, they're put off. So we're gonna, if you're here this far, if you leave in the comments what animal, what is it, right here in the comments, you leave what animal, what is it, what is that right there. If you even describe what you're seeing in the end of the video here in the comments, I will give you the email address to send to me, or, your email, and I will send you a prize in the mail. So anybody that got this far, I don't suspect anybody will, but anybody that got this far in the video and says Mr. Bigfoot Possum here, put Mr. Bigfoot Possum in the comments, and the first one that does will get a signed copy of A Sad Bug. How about them apples?